It was an ordinary morning at the office. I was sitting at my desk, immersed in data from a new marketing campaign, when I noticed something strange. My normally friendly colleagues began to avoid my gaze. I felt a murmur of suspicion in the air, but I wasn't sure what was happening. However, the last straw came when I was called into an emergency meeting with my supervisor, John. "Sarah, I need to talk to you about a sensitive matter," John said, a serious expression on his face. "There are rumors circulating around the company about your conduct." My heart accelerated. "Rumors? What kind of rumors?" John hesitated before continuing. "They're saying you're sabotaging other people's work to stand out. And that you've been talking bad about your colleagues behind their backs." I was shocked. "This is nonsense. Who is saying these things?" John sighed. "I don't know who started it, but these rumors are spreading fast. And they're starting to affect the team's confidence." I left the meeting stunned. Who could be doing this? I began to observe the behavior of my colleagues more closely. I noticed that Megan, who I considered a close friend, was always in the middle of the whispered conversations and furtive glances. I decided to confront her directly. One afternoon, at the company cafe, I approached Megan. "Hi, Megan. Can we talk?" She gave me a fake smile. "Of course, Sarah. What's wrong?" "I know you're spreading rumors about me," he said directly, bluntly. "Why?" Megan pretended to be surprised. "Me? Spreading rumors? You must be mistaken." "I'm not mistaken, Megan. I know it's you. I just want to understand why." She laughed, but there was something sinister in her laughter. "Do you really think it's that important? Maybe it's just karma, Sarah. Maybe you're reaping what you sowed." I left the conversation even more determined to discover the truth. I started talking to other colleagues discreetly, trying to put together pieces of the puzzle. It was then that I met Tom, a software developer who also seemed to be being avoided. "Tom, are you being rumored too?" I asked over lunch. He nodded. "Yes. They say I'm plagiarizing other developers' codes." "That's ridiculous," I said. "The same thing is happening to me. I think Megan is behind it." Tom frowned. "Megan? I hadn't thought of that, but it makes sense. She always seems to know everything that's going on." From then on, I started to get closer to other victims. Lisa, a graphic designer, was also being harmed. "Megan told me you were bad-mouthing me to the boss," Lisa revealed, visibly upset. "Lisa, I would never do that. Megan is manipulating us all," I replied. With the pieces falling into place, I realized we needed to act together. Megan was undermining our careers, and we couldn't let that continue. We decided to form a secret alliance to investigate and collect evidence against her. It was an emotional roller coaster, but we were determined to expose the truth. Each new discovery increased our confidence and brought us closer to our goal. Megan didn't count on our determination and ability to work as a team. We were ready to face any challenge that came our way. And so began our journey to unmask Megan, a journey that would teach us a lot about ethics, loyalty, and the power of teamwork. Discovering that Megan was not only hurting my career, but also those of other colleagues, was a moment of revelation and solidarity. At first, I was furious and helpless, but as I realized I wasn't alone, a new feeling began to emerge: determination. We needed to come together to expose Megan and restore our reputations. One afternoon, while reviewing ongoing marketing projects, I spotted Tom in the company cafeteria. He looked crestfallen, and something in his expression made me suspect that he, too, was being affected by Megan's actions. I took courage and approached. "Hi, Tom. Can I sit down?" I asked, trying to sound casual. "Of course, Sarah. Is something wrong?" he replied, looking up from his coffee. "Actually, yes. We need to talk. I get the feeling that Megan is not only sabotaging me, but also you and perhaps other colleagues." Tom sighed deeply. "You have no idea how much this has affected me. Megan spread false rumors about my technical competence. Since then, I have been excluded from important projects. Our conversation was a watershed. We confirmed our suspicions and decided to team up to investigate further. During this process, we met Lisa, a talented graphic designer who was also in Megan's sights. She told us about projects that had been unfairly discredited and how Megan had undermined her confidence in front of her superiors. "I knew I wasn't crazy," Lisa exclaimed, relieved to realize she wasn't the only victim. "We need to do something. We can't let Megan keep this up." And so, our secret alliance began to take shape. We met after work in a small meeting room that was rarely used. We exchanged information, strategies and, above all, moral support. It was comforting to know that we were not alone in this battle. "We need concrete evidence," said Tom, in one of the meetings. "Rumors and suspicions will not be enough." "I agree," I replied. "We need something that leaves no room for doubt. And for that, we will need external help." Then I remembered Alex, an old college friend who now worked as a cybersecurity analyst. He has always had a soft spot for technology and ethical hacking. I decided to contact him. That night, I texted Alex. "Hey, Alex, long time. I need a favor. It's something serious. Can we meet up?" He quickly responded, "Of course, Sarah. Tomorrow night at the downtown cafe?" At the meeting, I explained the situation to Alex. He listened carefully and, in the end, agreed to help us. "We'll need to be discreet," he warned. "If my company finds out, I could lose my job. But I'm willing to take the risk to help you." With Alex's technical support, our alliance gained new momentum. Together, we began monitoring Megan's communications and activities, looking for any evidence that could incriminate her. The first few weeks were tense, but little by little we began to collect irrefutable evidence. "Look at this," Alex said one day, showing us a series of emails in which Megan clearly manipulated information and influenced decisions from her superiors. "This is pure gold." Each new discovery brought us closer to our goal. Tom, Lisa, and I became not only colleagues on a mission, but also friends who shared a deep bond of trust and solidarity. "We're on the right track," Lisa stated with a glimmer of hope in her eyes. "We will expose Megan and restore our reputations." From that moment on, I knew that together we were stronger. The unexpected alliance we formed not only gave us the strength we needed to face Megan, but also taught us the true value of mutual support and collaboration. When I realized that the situation was getting out of control and that Megan was managing to manipulate many of the people around us, I decided it was time to seek outside help. It was then that I remembered Alex, an old friend from college, who now worked as a cybersecurity analyst. I knew that if anyone could help us get hard evidence against Megan, it was him. I met Alex again at a cafe near the office. When I saw it, I felt a mix of nostalgia and hope. He was the same as always, with his relaxed manner and easy smile. After the initial greetings, I got straight to the point. "Alex, I need your help," I started, trying to control the anxiety in my voice. "There is someone at my work, Megan, who is sabotaging my career and that of other colleagues. I need proof to unmask her, and I know you have the skills to do it." Alex looked at me with a mix of surprise and concern. He knew I wouldn't ask for something like that if I wasn't really serious. "Sarah, this is dangerous territory. If I do this and get caught, I could lose my job. But at the same time, I can't leave you in this situation without doing anything. I'll help you, but we need to be careful." From that moment on, we began to plan our strategy. Alex explained that he could access Megan's email and message records, but that this would need to be done with great caution so as not to arouse suspicion. He also warned me about the ethical and legal risks involved. Over the next few weeks, Alex constantly updated me on his progress. Our conversations were always discreet, often held in public places where we would not be easily recognized. I managed to access some of her emails. "It seems that Megan is using a personal email to send the most compromising messages," said Alex in one of these meetings. I'll need more time to put everything together, but we already have some solid evidence. Each new message Alex got was one more step towards unmasking Megan. However, tension was also rising, especially when Alex began to realize that his activities were being monitored more closely by his own company. "Sarah, I need to tell you something," he said, in a more serious tone than usual. "The company is increasing security and internal monitoring. If they find out what I'm doing, I could be fired." My heart sank when I heard that. I didn't want Alex to lose his job because of me, but we were already so involved that backing out didn't seem like an option. "Alex, I don't want you to get hurt because of me. If you think it's too risky, we can stop here," he said, trying to remain calm. "No, Sarah. We've already come this far. Let's go until the end. We just need to be even more careful," he replied, with determination. Finally, after weeks of hard work, Alex was able to put together a dossier complete with emails and messages that proved Megan's lies and manipulations. It was a bittersweet feeling. We were closer to exposing the truth, but we also knew that any misstep could have serious consequences. "We have everything we need," Alex said, with a tired but triumphant smile. "Now, it's up to you and your colleagues. Use this information wisely." I thanked Alex from the bottom of my heart. I knew he had risked a lot to help me and that it was now our responsibility to use this evidence in the best way possible. With Tom and Lisa's support, we began planning the next step, collecting additional evidence and organizing a final showdown that would unmask Megan in front of everyone. Collaborating with Alex not only gave us the tools we needed to confront Megan, but it also made me reflect on the ethical boundaries we were willing to cross to defend our integrity. We were ready for the next step, aware of the risks, but determined to fight for the truth. Leading the crucial project for the company came as a golden opportunity for me. It was the chance I needed to show my worth and secure a promotion that I so desperately wanted. However, learning of my involvement in the project, Megan intensified her efforts to sabotage me. Early on, I realized something was wrong when some of my documents and presentations started mysteriously disappearing from the server. At that moment, there was no doubt that Megan was behind this. So I decided to talk to Tom and Lisa about this new threat. "Tom, Lisa, we urgently need to meet. Something strange is happening with my project files," he said, trying to remain calm. "We already suspected Megan would do something like that," Tom replied, frowning. "She knows this project is crucial for you." "Exactly, Sarah," Lisa added. "But we won't let her win. We will find out how she is doing this and counteract her actions." With the help of Tom, who was an exceptional software developer, and Lisa, a talented graphic designer, we created a plan to protect our files and monitor any suspicious activity. Tom installed a tracking and backup system that allowed us to identify any sabotage attempts in real time. "Tom, that's amazing. With this system, we'll be able to track any modifications or deletions," I exclaimed, relieved. "It's the least we can do, Sarah. We're in this together," he replied with an encouraging smile. While we worked tirelessly on the project, Megan would not give up in her attempts to harm us. On one occasion, she tried to change some critical data in the final presentation. Fortunately, thanks to Tom's system, we detected the change in time and were able to correct it before it caused irreparable damage. "Megan is getting more desperate," Lisa commented as we reviewed the data. "She knows she's losing control." "This just shows that we are on the right path," I replied, determined. "We will continue to be vigilant." Our teamwork was essential to overcome the obstacles that Megan placed in our path. Lisa focused on creating impactful charts and visualizations, while Tom and I focused on data analysis and presentation. Each of us did our best to ensure the project was a success. One evening, as we were finalizing the last details, I received an anonymous email with vital information about Megan's manipulations. It was clear that we had silent allies within the company, people who were also tired of his actions. "Look at this," I said, showing Tom and Lisa the email. "It looks like we are not alone in this fight." "That's great, Sarah," Tom replied. "With this information, we can keep Megan under control and make sure she doesn't interfere anymore." Finally, the day of the presentation arrived. We were confident and prepared. The conference room was full of executives and colleagues, all waiting to see the results of our work. Megan was there too, watching closely, perhaps waiting for us to slip up. "Good luck, Sarah," Lisa whispered, before I took the stage. "You're going to rock it." "Thank you, Lisa. And thank you for everything, Tom." "I couldn't have done it without you," I replied, feeling grateful for the unconditional support. The presentation was an absolute success. Every piece of data, graph and analysis was met with enthusiasm and praise. In the end, the superiors were impressed and expressed their appreciation for my work. "Sarah, your performance was exceptional," said the marketing director. "We look forward to discussing his future with the company." As I received greetings, I saw Megan leave the room, clearly frustrated. She knew her attempts at sabotage had failed. That moment was a great triumph not only for me, but for our entire team. Returning to my office, I couldn't help but reflect on the importance of honesty and teamwork. With the help of Tom and Lisa, we managed to overcome adversity and deliver an exceptional project. And even though Megan was still around, I knew we were more prepared than ever to face any challenge she might throw at us. This is just the beginning, I thought, determined to keep integrity and collaboration as pillars of my work. The secret alliance was more determined than ever to gather the evidence needed to expose Megan. Each new piece of evidence we obtained was another step towards unmasking his malicious actions. Tensions, however, were also rising as Megan began to suspect something was up. I was at my desk, going through old emails, when Tom approached. "Sarah, do you have a minute?" he asked, lowering his voice. "Of course, Tom. Let's go to the meeting room, it's safer there," I replied, getting up and following him. Upon entering the room, I closed the door and we sat down. "I discovered something important," Tom said, opening his laptop. I was able to access some old emails that Megan sent to the department head. She was clearly trying to undermine our work on several occasions. He showed me the emails, and it was clear that Megan was manipulating information to damage the image of all of us. Lisa entered the room at that moment, carrying a stack of papers. "You won't believe what I found," she said, placing the papers on the table. "These are testimonies from other colleagues who were also harmed by Megan. They are willing to talk as long as we make sure none of it will harm them." "That's great, Lisa!" I exclaimed, feeling a wave of relief. "We need to organize this information and keep everything safe. Megan is increasingly suspicious." At that moment, my phone vibrated. It was Alex, my hacker friend. "Sarah, we need to talk," he said as soon as I answered. "I was able to access some of Megan's private messages that are incriminating, but there's a problem. She's starting to suspect someone is tampering with her communications." My heart raced. If Megan found out what we were doing, she might try to retaliate in unpredictable ways. "Got it, Alex. Meet me at the cafe in an hour. We need to discuss this in person," I replied, trying to remain calm. After hanging up, I turned to Tom and Lisa. "Alex found more evidence, but Megan is suspicious. We need to be extremely careful now. Let's organize all of this and make sure we have a solid plan." Tom nodded, and Lisa began dividing the papers into categories. We spent the next hour reviewing and organizing the evidence. Each new document and testimony increased our confidence, but we knew that at any moment Megan could discover our investigation. At the cafe, Alex was already sitting at a table in the corner. I sat down next to him and he opened his laptop, showing me the messages. "Look at this, Sarah," he said, pointing to the screen. "Megan is talking to someone outside the company, apparently planning something big." "This is worse than I thought," I muttered, feeling a wave of worry. "We need to act quickly. We have enough proof, but if she's planning something, we need to be one step ahead." "I agree. I will continue monitoring, but we need more security." "And you need to prepare the groundwork with your superiors," Alex suggested. I returned to the company with new determination. I brought Tom and Lisa back together and explained the situation. "We have to present this evidence soon. Megan may be planning something that will harm us even more. Let's prepare a complete dossier and schedule a meeting with our superiors, he said, looking into both of their eyes. We're with you, Sarah, Tom said with conviction. Let's do this right, Lisa added, holding my hand. We spent the next few days finalizing the dossier. Every detail was reviewed, every testimony was recorded. The tension in the office was palpable, but the alliance was more united than ever. Finally, we were ready to expose Megan and clear our names. I scheduled the meeting with our superiors, and the date was set. It was time to reveal the whole truth and ensure that Megan faced the consequences of her actions. The weight of responsibility was heavy, but with Tom, Lisa, and Alex by my side, I knew we could win this battle. Collecting evidence was an arduous and challenging process, but it also strengthened us as a team. We were prepared for the final showdown, ready to face Megan and restore truth to our workplace. The final showdown. I knew the decisive moment was coming. Every email, every testimony, every conversation record we had gathered needed to be presented clearly and irrefutably. I couldn't let Megan get away with this. At the same time, I needed to ensure that my superiors and colleagues understood the gravity of the situation. So, I organized a meeting attended by all superiors and coworkers. I was nervous, but the determination to expose the truth gave me strength. The morning of the meeting, I arrived at the office early. Tom and Lisa were at my side, both showing a mix of apprehension and confidence. Alex, the hacker who helped us collect the evidence, had given us detailed instructions on how to present the data without compromising his identity. Tom turned on the projector while Lisa adjusted the slides on the notebook. All ready? I asked, trying to hide my anxiety. Yes, it's all here, Lisa replied, pointing to the notebook. We just need to follow the script and we will be convincing. At 10 a.m. sharp, the superiors began to arrive. The company's director of operations, head of human resources, and CEO were among those present. Megan entered last, with an expression of false tranquility that made me feel immediate repulsion. Everyone settled down, and the meeting began. Thank you everyone for being here, I began, trying to keep my voice steady. I invited you to this meeting because we have a serious situation that needs to be discussed. Over the past few months, some of us have been victims of manipulation and sabotage that have damaged our work and our reputation. Today, we will present overwhelming evidence that shows who is behind these actions. Megan looked at me with an expression of surprise, but also of challenge. I knew she would try to defend herself, but I was prepared. Tom, please start the presentation, I asked. Tom designed the first slide, which showed a series of emails exchanged between Megan and other colleagues, where she was clearly spreading malicious rumors about me and other team members. Each email was a stab at Megan's credibility. Lisa then presented testimonies from colleagues who had been harmed, all of whom recounted instances in which Megan had lied or manipulated information. This is absurd. Megan finally snapped, standing up from her chair. You are fabricating this evidence. This is a setup against me. Megan, please sit down, the director of operations said firmly. Let's hear everything before drawing conclusions. I knew this would be the most difficult moment. I took a deep breath and continued. And lastly, we have conversation records that clearly show Megan's intentions. I designed the messages, some of which contained clearly manipulative and malicious content. Megan was silent for a moment, and then, trying to maintain her composure, she said, "That doesn't prove anything. You cannot guarantee that these messages were not forged." It was then that Alex entered the room, disguised as an IT technician. Actually, we do, he said, revealing his identity. I'm a cybersecurity analyst and I was the one who collected this evidence. I can guarantee the authenticity of each one of them. The superiors looked at each other, visibly impressed. The head of human resources took the floor. Megan, the amount of evidence against you is overwhelming. We have no choice but to dismiss her immediately for misconduct. Megan tried to say something, but her voice was drowned out by the unanimous decision of the superiors. She left the room with her head down, and I felt a huge weight lifted from my shoulders. After Megan left the room, the CEO addressed me. "Sarah, we want to thank you for your courage and determination in bringing this situation to light. You have demonstrated an exceptional commitment to ethics and team well-being. Count on our support from now on." The meeting ended with a feeling of justice and relief. Tom, Lisa and Alex and I gathered in the hallway, emotional but aware that there was still work to do to ensure nothing like this happened again. "We did it," said Tom, with a smile of relief. "Yes, but this is just the beginning," I replied. "Now, we need to work together to create a more transparent and collaborative work environment." And so, with the truth finally revealed, I felt we were ready for a new beginning, where honesty and teamwork truly prevailed. After Megan's firing, I found myself surrounded by a whirlwind of emotions. The feeling of relief that we had finally exposed the truth was mixed with a deep reflection on everything that had happened. I sat alone in my living room, looking out the window, trying to take in everything we had been through. The silence felt strangely welcoming after weeks of tension and uncertainty. The next day, I called a meeting with Tom and Lisa. We needed to discuss what we would do next. Sitting in the conference room, the atmosphere was different. There was a new feeling of unity and purpose between us. "Tom, Lisa, I think we need to talk about what we're going to do from now on. We can't let something like this happen again," I began, looking at them seriously. "I agree, Sarah. We need to change the culture here. Promote more transparency and communication between everyone," Lisa replied, with a determined look. "Yes, but how do we do that? People are used to holding grudges and not talking openly about their problems," pondered Tom, fiddling with his pen. "I was thinking about implementing more open communication policies and creating spaces where everyone can express themselves without fear of retaliation. We need to make sure everyone feels heard and valued," I suggested, trying to find a practical solution. "Maybe we can start with weekly meetings where anyone can bring up their concerns and suggestions." "Something like a transparency meeting," proposed Lisa. "Great idea, Lisa. And we can also create an anonymous channel where people can report inappropriate behavior without fear," I added, seeing the idea take shape. The conversation continued for hours. We discussed several ways to make the work environment more collaborative and ethical. In the end, we left with a solid plan and the determination to make a difference. Over the next few days, we began implementing our ideas. We organized the first transparency meeting and invited all colleagues. I was nervous, but I knew it was a necessary step. In the conference room, I began the meeting. "Guys, we're here today to talk about how we can improve our work environment. We want to hear you, your concerns, your ideas. This is a safe space for everyone." To my surprise, people started to open up. They reported small day-to-day frustrations, but also brought valuable suggestions. It was a revealing and moving moment. After the meeting, Tom approached me. "Sarah, I think we're on the right track. People really want change." "I think so too, Tom. And it's just the beginning. We have a lot of work to do, but I'm optimistic," I replied with a smile. Implementing the new policies was not easy. We encountered resistance, of course. Some people were skeptical, others just didn't want to change. But I was determined. We continued with weekly meetings, adjusting whatever was necessary and listening to everyone's feedback. In parallel, I created an anonymous channel so that employees could report any problems. Surprisingly, we began to receive reports and suggestions that helped us identify and resolve issues we didn't even know existed. I also sought to promote ethics and integrity in all my actions. I made a point of being an example of transparency and honesty. And, little by little, I saw the change happen. The work environment began to improve, people became more collaborative and trust increased. One day during one of these meetings, a colleague stood up and said, "Sarah, thank you for leading this change. It's been inspiring to see how we can improve together." Those words touched me deeply. I realized that all the effort, all the sleepless nights, all the stress were worth it. We were able to create a healthier and more productive environment. And so, with the support of Tom, Lisa, and all our colleagues, we continue to work together, promoting transparency and collaboration. I learned that honesty and teamwork are not just nice words, but fundamental principles that can transform any work environment. The journey wasn't easy, but looking back, I know we made the right decision. And I am determined to ensure that our company continues to be a place where everyone feels valued and respected. After all, that's what really matters. When everything seemed to finally be stabilizing, with the company in a new climate of transparency and collaboration, Megan reappeared. I was in my office, reviewing some reports, when I received an unexpected email from her. The subject was straightforward and frightening: "We're not done yet." I opened the email with shaking hands, and read the clear, direct threat. Megan had proof that Alex had hacked systems to obtain the information we used against her. And now, she was demanding money and a public retraction so as not to destroy Alex's career and mine. I knew I couldn't give in to his blackmail, but the threat was real and could have disastrous consequences. However, she was not willing to be intimidated. The first person I spoke to was Alex, and our dialogue was tense. "Alex, Megan is back. She has evidence against us," I began, trying to remain calm. "What? How did she do that?" Alex replied, visibly worried. "She claims to have proof that you hacked systems to obtain that information. And she's demanding money and a public retraction," I explained. "Sarah, I did it to help you, but I knew the risks." "We need to think of something quickly," he said, running a hand through his hair, clearly nervous. We decided to bring Tom and Lisa together for an emergency meeting. We needed a plan, and fast. In my office, the tension was palpable. "This is ridiculous. We can't let Megan manipulate us again," Tom said, banging the table. "I agree, but we need to be smart. We can't just ignore this," Lisa added. "We have to find a way to expose Megan once again, but this time in a way that she can't harm us," I suggested, trying to keep a cool head. After hours of discussing our options, we decided the best approach would be to see a lawyer. We needed a robust defense and a legal strategy to face Megan head-on. I hired a renowned lawyer for blackmail and cybersecurity cases. Our first meeting was encouraging. "Sarah, Alex, from what you've told me, we have a solid chance of unmasking Megan again. But we need more proof that she's lying and manipulating," the lawyer said, reviewing our documents. "Let's start gathering everything we have again. Testimonies, messages, anything we can use to show that Megan is lying," Alex suggested. This battle would be different. Megan had already shown that she wouldn't give up easily, and we needed to be prepared for an intense confrontation. Tom, Lisa, and I began interviewing coworkers, trying to find any new evidence of manipulation on Megan's part. Every conversation, every detail, was crucial. "Sarah, do you think this will work?" Lisa asked one day, exhausted after a long session of information gathering. "We have to believe so, Lisa. We can't let Megan win," I replied, trying to sound confident. Finally, the day of the hearing arrived. Megan was there, looking triumphant. But we were ready. Our attorney presented a meticulous defense, attacking every point of Megan's allegations. Testimonies from colleagues, records of conversations, and new evidence of manipulation were presented. It is clear that Megan has not changed her tactics. She continues to manipulate and lie to get what she wants, the lawyer said, concluding his argument. Megan tried to defend herself, but the amount of evidence was overwhelming. At the climax of the hearing, a crucial recording was revealed. A coworker had secretly recorded Megan admitting to her manipulations and blackmail. That was the last straw. "Megan, you're finished," Alex said, with a mix of relief and anger. The revelation was devastating for Megan. She was exposed and received severe punishment, including imprisonment for blackmail and manipulation. Alex and I were absolved of any blame. The company has once again implemented changes to ensure an ethical and safe working environment. Finally, I was promoted to an executive leadership position. Honesty and teamwork prevailed, and my career was consolidated. Megan tried to bring us down, but our determination and unity made us stronger. When Megan reappeared, I knew I was facing a ruthless opponent. But giving in to blackmail was never an option for me. The first thing I did was look for a trustworthy lawyer, someone who could guide me through this legal maze. That's how I met Dr. Ricardo Mendez, a lawyer known for his insight and dedication. "Sarah, let's deal with this strategically. We can't let blackmail and manipulation define your career," said Dr. Mendez during our first meeting. I also knew I couldn't face this battle alone. Alex, Tom, and Lisa readily offered to help gather evidence that Megan was still manipulating and lying. We knew Megan was cunning, but we also had the advantage of knowing her tactics. "We need to be thorough," Lisa said as we sorted through Megan's old emails. Any small inconsistency could be the key to dismantling her accusations. Alex, despite the personal risks, decided to actively collaborate. He used his cybersecurity skills to track communications and find any evidence that could unmask Megan. "Sarah, I found some messages Megan exchanged with an old colleague. They confirmed that she was planning something against you from the beginning," Alex said, showing her laptop screen. With this new evidence, Dr. Mendez mounted a robust defense. He prepared our depositions, ensuring that each of us knew exactly what to say and how to behave in court. I was nervous, but the presence of my friends and allies gave me strength. On the day of the trial, the courtroom was packed. Megan was there, looking cold and calculating. When it was time for my testimony, I took a deep breath and entered the courtroom. "Ms. Sarah, can you tell us about your professional relationship with the defendant?" asked the judge. "Yes, Your Excellency. Megan and I have worked together for several years. Initially, we were friends, but over time I realized that she was spreading malicious rumors about me and other colleagues," I replied, remaining calm. Tom and Lisa's testimonies were equally crucial. They detailed how Megan had manipulated situations and people to sabotage our careers. Alex presented technical evidence, showing the compromising messages Megan had exchanged. "Megan is a manipulator," Alex stated. "She used dirty tactics to try to destroy our careers, and now she's trying to do the same to Sarah." The legal battle became increasingly intense. Megan tried to defend herself, claiming that everything was just a conspiracy against her. But Dr. Mendez was prepared for her every move. "Your Excellency, I would like to present new evidence," said Dr. Mendez on the third day of the trial. A recording made by another coworker, who was also a victim of the defendant's manipulations. The recording was played in the courtroom. Megan's voice was unmistakable. She admitted to having manipulated situations and people, confirming all the accusations we had made. "I can't believe she did that," Lisa whispered, shocked. With this crucial piece of evidence, the case against Megan fell apart. She was finally exposed and received severe punishment for blackmail and manipulation. The feeling of relief was palpable. After the trial, I returned to the company with a new perspective. I knew that my fight had not been in vain. With the help of Tom, Lisa, and Alex, I implemented new communication and transparency policies, ensuring our work environment was ethical and safe. "Sarah, you really made a difference here," Tom said, smiling. "I didn't do this alone," I replied, looking at my friends. "It was teamwork." And so, strengthened by this experience, I continued my professional journey, now in an executive leadership position. I learned that honesty and teamwork are fundamental to overcoming any challenge. I couldn't control my anxiety as I waited in the courtroom hallway. The legal battle had dragged on for weeks, and each day the tension increased. Megan was determined to destroy us, and I knew everything was at stake. Alex, Tom, and Lisa were by my side, and their support was essential to keeping me sane during this tumultuous time. "Sarah, are you okay?" Lisa asked, placing her hand on my shoulder. "I'm trying to stay calm," I replied, trying to smile. "I just hope this hearing ends soon." Finally, we were called back to court. The atmosphere was solemn, and all eyes were fixed on us. Megan was sitting next to her lawyer, looking cool and confident. I knew she still believed she could win. The judge called for silence, and then our lawyer stood up to present the crucial evidence we had obtained. It was a recording of Megan, something that could completely change the course of the trial. "I would like to call Mr. John Carter to the witness stand," our lawyer announced. John was a colleague who had worked with us and, over the years, had also suffered at Megan's hands. He stood up and walked to the front of the courtroom, visibly nervous but determined. "Mr. Carter, can you tell us about the recording you brought in today?" asked the lawyer. John took a deep breath and began to speak. "Yes, I recorded a conversation with Megan where she admitted to manipulating and blackmailing several colleagues, including Sarah, Tom, and Lisa. I knew she was doing something wrong, but I didn't have the courage to speak up before. When I saw what Sarah was doing passing by, I realized it was time to act." The lawyer then presented the recording. In the audio, Megan's voice was clear and unmistakable. She spoke openly about how she had manipulated facts to sabotage our careers and how she was blackmailing Sarah and Alex. The courtroom fell silent as the recording played, and I could see the look of shock on the judge's face. "That is inadmissible," shouted Megan, trying to get up, but her lawyer pulled her back onto the bench. "Miss Megan," said the judge, interrupting the commotion, "the evidence presented is clear and damning. Your attempt to manipulate and blackmail cannot be tolerated. I declare that Miss Megan is guilty of all charges." I almost couldn't believe what I was hearing. The judge's words were music to my ears. Megan was sentenced to a severe sentence, including imprisonment for blackmail and manipulation. Justice had finally been served. After the verdict was pronounced, Megan was removed from the courtroom, still screaming and protesting. I felt relieved and at the same time exhausted. Alex hugged me and said, "We did it, Sarah. We finally did it." Back at the office, the atmosphere was much lighter. The news about Megan's conviction spread quickly, and my colleagues began to see me in a different light. I was no longer just the marketing analyst. Now I was a leader, someone who fought for truth and justice. A few weeks later, I received the news that would change my career forever. I was promoted to an executive leadership position. The company recognized my effort and dedication not only to work, but also to creating an ethical and safe work environment. In an all-staff meeting, I shared my vision for the future. From now on, we will focus on fostering a work environment where honesty and collaboration are valued above all else. Together, we can create a culture of transparency and respect. Tom, Lisa, and Alex were by my side, and I knew this victory was not just mine, but for all of us. We had faced many challenges and twists and turns, but in the end, the truth prevailed. And that was the biggest lesson of all. "Thank you everyone for your support," I said, excited. "We will continue to work together, as a team, to ensure our company is a place where everyone can grow and prosper." It was the beginning of a new era, and I was ready to lead with integrity and courage.